Good morning and welcome to today's Chet Chat. Today I'm going to be talking about property rights and going into a few tangential discussions about that. I want to start off by talking about what property rights are. And I'm going to be explaining it the way that it was explained to us in law school. First semester property, probably one of the most difficult classes that you take your first year of law school is property. So you get there and they say, what is property? What does it mean to have property rights? It was explained to me as property rights or your ownership in property is essentially a bundle of sticks. Okay, each stick represents a different right over that particular piece of property. And just for purposes of this video, so you know, real property is referring to real estate. That's where we call it real estate. It's real property. Personal property is any tangible property, computers, cell phones, chairs, pictures, cameras, that kind of thing. So what are the different sticks in this bundle? What are the different rights that you have that comprise your ownership of property? Well, one is your right to use and consume property. So if it's personal property, if it's a camera, your right to go and take pictures and use the usefulness of the camera until it loses its commercial viability or until it breaks. If it's food, your right to literally consume it, right? If it's real property, your right to live there, to occupy it, to cut down trees, to fish the waters, that sort of thing. That's what we mean when we say to consume the property, to occupy it, right? To exclude others is another stick in this bundle. The right to say, well, no, you can't use this, or you can't be here right now. That is a stick in this bundle. Another stick in the bundle is the right to dispose of the property, which means to give it to someone or to sell it to someone or to transfer ownership to someone else. That is one of the sticks in this bundle. So the reason I talk about this is to talk about a topic that is been in circulation right now, and that's the death tax. And there are proponents of the death tax who say that, wealth shouldn't be able to be just inherited, that it should be taxed. It's properly, this property properly escheats to the state. That term escheat, listen to me, ESCHEAT, is a term that means it goes back to the government upon death. And I think it's interesting to use that term, to go back, as if it originated with the government, because it didn't originate with the government. That wealth was generated by the person during their lifetime. When you tell someone you cannot dispose of this property in the way that you want, either by will or intestacy meaning without dying without a will, I make a will. I express my desire that at the time of my death, I want this property to go to this person. If the government steps in and taxes that, then to a certain extent, they are depriving me of my ability to transfer that property to someone else. So they're taking away one of those sticks in that bundle, or a piece of a stick in that bundle. So I want people to think about that when we're looking at policies, when we're considering policies, especially tax policies, any kind of governmental policy. Anytime the government takes something of yours, they are depriving you of your ownership. And it is, I don't want this to turn into a discussion of whether taxation is theft, but at least in the context of a death tax. And for the people who say that this video, I'll put it to you this way, is aimed at the people who think that that a person has no right to will their estate to someone else, that you have no right over your property once you die. I disagree with that because you, as one of the bundles, as one of the sticks in that bundle of rights that comprise your property ownership, you should be able to dispose of that property how you want. Because if you wanted to say, okay, you know, I want, before I die, I want this property to go someone else. Our tax code still treats that as a gift made in contemplation of death, and the death tax still applies. So they're going to make sure that you don't have the ability to fully transfer ownership in that property or resources, cash, chattel paper, whatever the case may be, without some taxation. And so by doing that, they are depriving, to a certain extent, a property right. So I just want everyone to sort of understand or to conceptualize that that's fine. You might support a death tax as long as you understand that to a certain extent you are taking away property rights from the person that is attempting to will or dispose of this property.